taking them. Well, we're joined on the line by Tomás Conefrey, who is a pharmacist based in Dublin, member of the Irish Pharmacy Union. Good morning, Tomás. How are you?
Good morning, Shane. How are you doing?
I'm very well. The old advice was that you take your course of antibiotics. So even if you feel well after 3 or 4 days, you still take your 7 days antibiotics. Now, in the British Medical Journal, they're saying that maybe there isn't a need to take the complete course. What do you make of all of this?
Well, I think the old advice still stands, Shane. That article in the journal there, it's misleading, and it's not a conclusive argument as well. What I mean by that, it's research that is ongoing. It's not completed. So at the moment, we're just advising people just continue taking their antibiotics as they would do. Take the complete course, finish the course.
Yeah, and I see as well your man who wrote it, Professor Martin Llewellyn, said that patients may even put an unnecessary risk from antibiotic resistance when treatment goes on for longer than necessary. This is the thing people are worried about. If you take too many antibiotics there, you build up a resistance to them.
Yeah, well, if you either take too little or too many of them, Shane, the resistance can be a problem, because the bacteria evolves and mutates over time when people don't take the full course of antibiotics as recommended. Because there's some examples of some diseases that have made a comeback in the last few years because antibiotics haven't been fully taken as they've been prescribed.
And what do you make of all the headlines around this? I mean, I'm looking at one here which says, call to scrap complete course guideline for antibiotics. Would you be worried that people will hear a story like this and think, well, there's no need for me to finish my 7-day or 10-day prescription? Yeah,
I think the headlines are simplistic and they're not really the full article. I mean, in the article itself, in the last paragraph, the authors say that research is needed to determine the appropriate message to pass on to the patient. So really, it's a headline that people see and they might act on it, but really they need to read down the article and read the information.
Yeah, and can you understand why people would stop? Because let's say you have a kidney infection, for example, and you start to take antibiotics. After 3 or 4 days you feel grand, and you just think to yourself, is there any need now for me to be continuing this into the weekend here?
I understand exactly why people would stop, especially when they feel better. They think, oh, I'm grand now, I can just stop these. But really your doctor has prescribed them to you for a particular duration, and it's important to fully take the complete course of antibiotics to make sure the infection is totally gone. I understand people as well, especially with the weekend coming up, they say, oh, I want to have a drink or something like that. Yeah. I'll just stop for the weekend and never go back to it.
And what is the risk if you don't finish the course? So you're feeling better, you stop it after day 3 or 4. What's the risk by not completing the course?
The infection could not be sufficiently cleared, and you're running that risk. Even though you feel better, the infection might still be there, and it may come back a week, 2 weeks later, so you're back to square one. And also there's problems with people not taking the full amount of the course, can lead to resistance. That's one of the opportunities for antibiotic resistance to arise.
Right, and you say more research is needed. Indeed, Seamus Martin, who's a Smurfit Professor of Medical Genetics, he said more research is needed, and at the moment patients should finish the course. If the research comes back and says that these guys in the medical journal are right, that you should take the antibiotic as soon as you're feeling better, would you be happy to give that advice then to patients?
Well, once the survey is completed or the research is completed and they've conclusive evidence, then like I say, I'm an open-minded person. I'd be only too happy to say that to people. But like I say, more research really is the key word here. So until we have a conclusive answer, at the moment we just keep telling people to talk to the doctor, talk to their pharmacist for advice and complete the course.
OK, good advice there, and don't mind the headlines because they are very dramatic at the moment. Tomás Conefrey, pharmacist based in Pearse Street in Dublin, thank you.
Hanlon Concrete, your local trusted supplier, serving all your concrete